Hey everybody, this is Sean V. Bradley. I'm in the Lightspeed VT studios. There goes Mr. Bradley right there. No diggity. Okay.
Come on now, let's get with it.
Hey, on the studio, folks, I got a real treat for you. Sean V. Bradley, what's cracking?
What's up, brother? How you been?
If you guys don't know Sean V. Bradley, he's the CEO of Dealer Synergy. He's a freaking best-selling author. He's running around doing books, TV shows now. He's got a podcast of his own called Millionaire, Car Salesman Podcast. Not that he's only in the car business, but he started out in the car business. Now he's starting to expand out, getting TV shows. His freaking wife's a recording artist and freaking, co-CEO or whatever, nice little family. Sean V. Bradley, go follow his ass at Sean V. Bradley on social media and you'll learn more about him. But today, the reason I got you on the show is because, you've been through some trials and tribulations in life. You're an entrepreneur. You built a business from scratch. I remember you freaking from a long time ago. Dude, I started Lightspeed, right before you started your shit, but like right around the same time. How long you been doing it?
17 years now. Dealer Synergy's been in business.
17 years reading contracts, getting dicked, doing the dicking maybe. Who knows? Okay. But this TV show now that you got coming out, what's that called?
Yeah, so Vice News or Vice TV just assigned me to season 2 of one of their hit shows called I Was A Teenage Felon. Now the name sounds a little bit cheesy, Brad, but it should have been like I Was a Teenage Kingpin. Everybody on this show from season 1 were doing like just crazy shit, just like big stuff.
Yeah, so you were a teenage kingpin.
I was involved in a multi-million-dollar ecstasy operation. We were importing, among other things, about 10,000 pills of ecstasy from Holland to the United States every 5 weeks.
Nice. Were you making shit tons of dough?
For a 17, 18-year-old kid, I was making hundreds of thousands of dollars as a kid. Yeah.
What made that stop?
United States Secret Service and DEA. I caught a federal case.
And that was the end of that?
That was the end of that, yeah.
See, folks, this is what I always tell people, man. You can scam and fucking do crooked shit, dude, and it never lasts. I've never heard of anybody going their whole life with no trouble when they're into trouble. Drug dealers, I had a buddy of mine, he was the coolest, dude. Had the money, had the cars. Everybody wanted to be him. All the girls wanted to do him. And fucking, dude, 2-3 years into the deal, dude, bam, prison. It doesn't pay.
No, I actually was on a run for about 2 years. Not like on a run. I had a winning streak, if you would, in the hustling business.
You didn't get caught?
Nah, for 2 years, I caught cases, but I never got convicted of anything. But the problem is that when it all came to fruition, I wound up losing 3 years of my life from 19 to 22 years old. So people ask me all the time, was it worth it? My response is, I wouldn't do that shit again now in life. However, I had an incredible time and I experienced some shit that most human beings will never experience.
Well, what did it teach you?
A lot. Where do I start? About everything that I do in business right now, Brad, I've learned throughout my whole life: supply, demand, marketing, advertising, branding, sales, closing. A lot of the skills that I use legitimately for the last 22 years, I've been in the automotive industry, I learned on the streets.
Just hard knocks.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? To me, business is business. How many times I've heard from people that are CEOs of Fortune 100, Fortune 500 corporations, and they say, "Yeah, I used to do all this shit when I was a kid. I just never got caught." There's so many people that have white collar jobs or careers that did some shit when they were a kid. They just didn't get caught. Me, on the other hand, I got caught.
Yeah, well, that's true. There's a lot of people out there that want to claim like they're squeaky clean.
Oh, hell no.
They just didn't get caught. All right. So this show, I Was a Teenage Felon. So obviously you got busted and then ended up in the old pokey. Then you got out at 22.
Yes.
And then obviously being a felon didn't stop you.
Well, no. One thing that I wanted to do when I came home was just not be a statistic. I did not want to go back to prison. I didn't want to, reoffend, and I didn't want to be an air conditioning repairman. So I got into the automotive industry. And what was really interesting about car sales
why an air conditioning repairman?
Well, I would say I didn't want to do that.
Why? Who was doing that?
A lot of times, counselors and social workers say, turn your life around. Don't be in gangs. You could get, you could start a career as some type of laborer, air conditioner repairman, mechanic, or whatever. That wasn't me. I didn't want to have a labor job. I was a little bit lazy. I just wanted to make money. And so someone put me onto the car industry. And what I liked about that is she was like on the streets, it's hustling. It was like, making conversations, calling people, trying to sell them shit. But I didn't have to worry about getting arrested or getting, robbed or anything like that. But I got to benefit from my labor, my work ethic. You could make as much money as you could earn, which is like the streets. It's all commission based. There's no salary when you're a drug dealer or, other shit that I was doing.
Yeah. And so you got in the car business, started doing well. Mm-hmm. Then what?
Then I started my first company in 2004, which is Dealer Synergy, which is about 17 and a half years ago, and blew that up. And then during, the last 17 years, I've kind of tried to diversify real estate. We have multiple companies, conference company, VT, online university.
Yeah. By the way, folks, if you guys are in the car business and you want to freaking see some extensive content in relation to making more money, go to Bradley on Demand, not Bradley, 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 ondemand.com. Dude, the library's chock full. Any salesman that goes through it always says, holy shit, dude, I freaking quadrupled my pay. You sell individuals. If you're a dealership or a manager of a dealership, go in there and freaking hit the buttons to spin one up for your dealership, train your entire team. I guarantee your revenues go up. But then you also wrote a book, Googleopoly.
Yes.
What's that? Win the Game of Googleopoly.
It's a book about advanced digital marketing and how to get on the first page of Google. I mean, if you think about Monopoly, you can't win the game of Monopoly with just Pacific Avenue or even Boardwalk or Park Place. You need multiple pieces of real estate. So the more real estate you have, the more people could land on you, pay you rent, etc. So my concept was you can't dominate page one of Google with just one piece of, a website. So you want to have your website, you want to have social media, you want to have anything that could index and propagate the first page. So I taught a strategy on how you could dominate. And how I got the book deal was my wife, because you mentioned him before, we took an unknown recording artist and within 3 years, Brad, blew her up 65 million views. She's got 11 major music videos with Grammy nominated recording artists, like with Remy Ma, with Papoose, with Meek Mill, and a myriad of other people. She had her music licensed by the Tia and Tamara show on the Style Network. And if we're able to do that type of high-level Google domination with a recording artist, we can damn sure do it for a dentist or for, restaurants or any business for that matter.
All they do is buy your book.
Yeah, absolutely.
Win the game. Is there anything in Bradley on Demand about
absolutely. that? Absolutely. It's even better because I wrote that book several years ago. So in Bradley on Demand, the course that I have on Googleopoly and search engine domination is all up to date. So yeah.
See, that's not, even though people in the car business can use that, see, that's something that you could go worldwide right now. Why? Absolutely. Everybody needs to learn to do that.
100%. Brad, to be specific, like what you're saying is that, recording artists, the way that they give out record deals is not based on how good you sound or what you could shake your ass. It's can you push units? Can you get people to stream your shit? Can you get people to buy tickets to your concert? So you need to build a platform. You need to build a fan base. And that's what Googleopoly can do. I'm a published author. I'm signed to Wiley Publishing. It's a multi-billion-dollar publishing company. They don't give a shit about my writing skills. It's not the New York Times best written author. It's the New York Times best-selling author. So yeah, I don't care what you're looking for.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
I want to steal that one.
Nah, go ahead,
That's
man.
a good one.
It's true.
Hey, you guys heard him, I hope. It ain't the New York Times best written author. That's fucking funny.
Yeah, it's the New York Times, best-selling author. Everybody needs to build a fan base. Everybody needs to build a network of prospects.
Personal brand.
100%. And that's what Googleopoly does.
See, folks, you guys should be freaking pulling the car over and fucking figuring out how to do this for your business. A lot of people listen to this podcast trying to figure out how to, scale their business. Sometimes they just listen to it because it's funny. But a lot of people get a lot of information from my guests. This fucking episode's going to be carpet bombing y'all asses. Personal brand, how valuable is it?
I think it's everything, Brad. You know, again, there's so much noise out there in the internet and in the world. You have to be able to create a value package proposition, your differentiator. You know, again, you know how many times people say to me, "Oh, what's up with the orange?" 4 of your employees today complimented me on my shoes, my tie. Why? That's fucking why. Because I get you to ask me, "What's up with the orange tie?" That's the number one question I get. What's up with the orange, dude? That's what's up. You're talking
What
to
do
me.
you say? What's up with the orange?
My response, that's what's up with the orange. It's that it's there to.
Well, why not burgundy? Why wouldn't I talk to you if it was burgundy?
There is a true story. So years ago, when I first started Dealer Synergy, I was partnered with Dealer Skins. If you remember, they were based out of Nashville. Okay, and so the football
Tennessee.
team, yeah, exactly, is orange. So I kind of emulated orange, and I read the book. Shout out to Seth Godin, who's an amazing marketer.
Sure.
He wrote the book, The Purple Cow. In a 1,000-acre field, you don't want to be a purple. You don't want to be a black and white cow if you want to stand out. You want to be a purple cow. So right at the time I started my company, reading The Purple Cow, I clicked. In the last 16 out of the 17 years, you could only catch me in an orange tie. I got like 70 million orange ties, orange shit. But it's one of the number one conversation starters and ways for people to remember me. Oh, that's the orange tie guy.
But you like orange.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, this is some facts. Orange is by far the number one clickable color. So orange is an internet color. It's an advertising color. It's a call to action. People love orange.
Yeah. Well, especially people from Halloween.
Or the Philadelphia Flyers. But yeah.
Or the Tennessee Volunteers. But so you said something a minute ago that I want. See, this is why I interrupt. People always on my show like, let people talk. Well, fuck, now I can't remember what I was going to say. Because I had a question. You were saying something and it's like relevant to building businesses and shit. Oh, it'll come back to me later. So let me ask you this then. So that book was Purple Cow?
From Seth Godin?
Yeah.
Yes.
And were you reading books as a kid, drug dealer?
Yeah, actually, I used to get punished a lot. So I would read the encyclopedias.
How important do you think reading is?
It's actually critically important. It really is, to be able to soak up as much information, knowledge as possible.
Why don't people read?
I don't know why. Why don't people lift weights either? Because they're fucking heavy. You know what I mean? So sometimes people want to read because it takes time and, they're lazy. That's pretty much it. I think it has to do with just being lazy.
Or uninformed. Because, dude, listen, I've never read books my whole life. Like, it was stupid to me. Dumb. I didn't know. I was stupid. I thought, fuck, come on, dude. I know everything. Like, what the fuck can I read in a book?
You know what my publisher told me? The average American reads less than one book a year.
Yeah.
After they signed me, by the way. They told me that.
Well, dude, again, hardly anyone reads.
Right.
So about, I don't know. Things seem like a minute ago to me, but, I'll say 5 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, I just started, watching the people come in here and film and, heard about this book, heard about that book, got a client with a book. So I got to read his book because, so I started reading and then I started reading, Now, dude, I probably I'm reading book after book after book after book after book after book after book. People say, Brad, what's one way I can read a fucking book? Read books, man. Like go read Googleopoly and apply what he's saying in it. And what if it works for you? Well, what if it doesn't? Then you lost fucking $30, bitch. But 9 times out of 10, a lot of those books will tell you what that person went out there and learned. And if you implement that shit 9 times out of 10, I think it works for you. Would you agree? 1,000%.
Let me just share one more thing from the book. Video, by far, Brad, is the number one form of consumption of human beings. People prefer watching video more than reading, writing, talking, more than anything else. And what people don't realize is that on the Google search engines, the algorithm favors video. So if I don't care what you are, a business, a person, whatever, if you want to show up on the first page of Google, you want to be able to have video assets that you properly optimize, because a video that shows up on a search gets clicked on 53 times more than anything else. So if I Google a restaurant in Las Vegas, statistically speaking, in facts, is that any of the regular website links, that will get clicked on less than if you had a video that popped up from ABC restaurant on the strip. That will get clicked on 53 times more than anything else. A lot of people don't realize the power of video to be able to cut through the BS on search engines. That's in the Googleopoly book, by the way.
So here you are now. Now you're Mr. Cool, businessman, family man. Do you ever worry about the old days catching up to you?
Nah,
Some dude from back in the day that's still tweaking.
Nah, you know why? Because I got involved in a lot of crazy shit as a kid, but any of the people that I did business with, I never flipped on. I never hurt any of the people that I did business with. There's some dirty shit that happened in the case, but I never flipped on any of the people that I did business with or that I work with. So I don't have anything to worry about. I mean, I've been home for 22 years now. You know what I mean? So again, I'm good.
Well, if something was going to happen,
it would happen. Yeah.
I know, but with this new TV show coming out, maybe they'll be remembered.
I think the TV show is going to be crazy. Here's what I think, Brad. Most people that know me are not going to understand or believe the depth, because I've told everybody, you knew my background for the 15 plus years we've known each other. But the fact that I was so far deep involved, you know what I mean? Like literally 10,000 pills of ecstasy, Brad. We used to have flight routes. We used to send my ex-girlfriend just to from JFK, she'd fly to Germany. From Germany, she'd take a train into Holland, pick up a package. We used to have pills pressed, the Playboy bunnies. Then she would, from Germany, take a train to either Belgium, and then from there back to the United States. So we had 4 different country flight routes coming in.
How was she getting it back?
It wasn't even that sophisticated. We just put them in a suitcase because this is before 9/11. This is like in 1995, 1996. So it wasn't that crazy. Dogs weren't searching for MDMA. They were searching for marijuana, cocaine, and heroin. So there was no issue. She was a model, really pretty. People didn't even think twice. We just didn't want to have her coming from Amsterdam. You know what I mean? We wanted the couriers to come from a different country that wasn't as hot for drug trafficking, like whether it's Germany or Belgium or something like that. But man, I was involved.
Sounds like a fun job too.
It was, I used to promote for nightclubs in New York City and in London. I've done some major VIP parties for celebrities. And so that's what it was about. It was about, stocking the VIP parties with these, drugs. I mean, I'm in a movie called Limelight. Billy Corben, the guy that was the director of Cocaine Cowboys, he did a movie called Limelight that I'm in, and I'm in 2 books about the case. So what happened is that I didn't reach out to Vice. Out of nowhere, Vice TV last January came and approached me and they said, look, we want you to be on season 2 of I Was a Teenage Felon. And at first, and here's the thing is I've never told my story officially. In my entire life, since this whole thing's been going on for 26 years, I've only told my story once on a newspaper interview with the Village Voice. And I was a 19-year-old kid. It was after I first got arrested. So this is the first time that I actually tell the whole story that has, NYPD corruption. Giuliani was involved in our case. It was the largest case in the United States history for ecstasy. So it goes into deep detail. Italian organized crime, Russian organized crime. It's fucking crazy, dude. Secret Service was involved for counterfeit money. So for, those 2 years that I worked in the nightclubs, we did a lot of shit. The feds came in. I wound up getting arrested going to MCC Manhattan. And I tell this story in Vice. I'll give a little sneak preview. One of the craziest parts, Brad, for me is that, can you imagine being a 19-year-old kid, a club kid that was doing these VIP parties with celebrities and models, and then you get yanked and the feds are telling you you're looking at 20 years? And so I got into a fight, not a big deal, and I'm in the hole, 9 South. So in MCC Manhattan Federal Correction, they call the wing for administrative segregation 9 South. You know what my fucking cellmate was, dude?
Who?
The World Trade Center bomber from 1993. I can't even make this stuff up. So I wanted to die, because I thought my whole life was over. Then I realized, I was like, wow, if this is the most the United States government could do to me, is put me into the same fucking cell as a terrorist that blew up the World Trade Center in 1993. Fuck it, run it. Other than execute me, if this is the worst that could happen. And that's what got me through the 3-year bid, and then when I came home, I was on fire. I wanted to just really, do everything I could to not return back to prison.
Well, fuck yeah. That would not be a good thing.
No.
You end up doing martial arts too, huh?
Yeah, I've been training in martial arts for, what the hell are you reading? How do you find this shit? But yeah, I've been training in martial arts for like 30 years, but I've been training under Phil and Ricardo Miglioris, which is Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in Philadelphia, for probably about 14 years.
Did you introduce me to one of those?
Yes,
guys?
I did. I introduced you to
like
Ricardo.
watches.
Yes, that's Phil McGreece. He's a 6th-degree House and Gracie black belt. The dude's badass, man. He trains the FBI, the Navy SEALs, and professional athletes, you know.
Says you're first generation in USA.
Yeah, my father was born in Belize, so I'm first generation in the country.
So isn't Belize French or no, UK?
It used to be British endorsed, but now it's an independent country.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Can you escape there?
No, they have extradition.
Did you ever look at extradition countries?
Yeah, actually.
Which ones are non-extradition?
Non-extradition, probably in the Middle East.
Yeah, but you don't want to go there.
No, I don't.
Dude, like if I were going to be a criminal, dude, I'd be trying to figure out, okay, if shit goes crazy, where can you go where you just, you know, you got busted so you don't get to live in the U.S. anymore?
Back then, you know, in the early mid-90s, I'd say Cuba. You know what I mean? But Cuba's open now, so you got to look at something else.
Well, they'll probably jack you from there too.
Yeah.
Like I think if the U.S. really wants you, they're going to jack you wherever you are.
Yeah.
Wherever you are. Even if it's non-extradition.
You know that I've been to Russia a bunch of times. I actually met some very serious people in federal prison, and they became a good contact. So from 2001 to 2007, I took about 6 trips to Moscow. So Moscow is a non-extradition country.
Yeah, Moscow is.
Yes.
They don't really.
Yeah.
They don't really cooperate.
Yeah. No,
well.
not too much.
Okay, so now what's your main business? Dealer Synergy. You basically, you know, coach and mentor and train car dealers and their sales teams and their internet departments on productivity, et cetera, et cetera.
That's one of them. But one of the things that I am, you know, doing, obviously, you know, working with you is I'm taking all the stuff that I've been doing for the last 17 years for the automotive industry, and I'm bringing it to the public. Because if you sum it up, Brad, what I do for a living is my clients are multi-billion and multi-million-dollar businesses. I teach these companies, not individual people, how to make more millions and billions of dollars. But I've been so focused in automotive for 17 years. Now I'm doing my Bradley and the Man training for entrepreneurs, for individuals. The other thing that I'm doing because of the TV show is we're in the process of taking my story. Vice is blown away by my story. I believe I'm going to be the season finale on season 2, but they couldn't pack all the shit in between like the gang stuff, the Italian organized crime, Russian organized crime, all the other shit that was there. So we're working on putting together a Netflix docuseries. So I'm working with a gentleman named Seth Ferrante. Talk about crazy story. Seth is, he was on season 1 of the Vice show. He was 17 years old, drug kingpin.
See White Boy Charlie?
Yeah, White Boy Rick.
White Boy Rick,
Yes. So he's...
I saw a movie called White Boy Rick.
Yeah, that he's got the top 10 Netflix documentary. So he's the writer producer from this. But this guy did 21 straight years in prison. He got his associate's master's degree, bachelor's and master's degree in prison, wrote 8 books, came home and wrote and produced White Boy. So we're working together now. And I actually have my first project. I'm executive producing a movie called Nightlife with him. It's one of his movies. He's the director on. So I'm hoping that I could take my story and all the crazy details, and me and Seth will get it picked up by Netflix.
Well, they're hurting for content.
I don't know if they possibly, I know they need content, but you know.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
They're hurting for content. Like when you say you have Netflix, yeah, I watched that. I watched it all. Dude, during the pandemic, dude, a lot of people watched everything Netflix had to watch. I was one of them.
Yeah. What's your favorite show?
Oh man, I don't even know what's on Netflix. It's a combination of everything that's outside of Netflix.
Right.
But on Netflix, I don't know. Because you know, I see new shit there now. But back in the day, you know, I like Breaking Bad.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Game of Thrones.
Yes. Sons of Anarchy.
I never got into that one. What the fuck is it called, man? It was one of the best. I think it was just called Justice. No.
Does your wife have you watch shows together?
Well, she tries, but I don't watch like Bachelor and shit like that.
Okay. She
likes The Bachelor and America's Got Talent and The Voice.
Yeah, see, the problem, I can't watch it with my wife because she'll fall asleep and then I want to see the next episode. And it's like apparently a marriage faux pas that if you fucking watch the next episode without your wife, then you're like Netflix cheating or some dumb shit like that.
Dude, Justified. That's the show.
Okay.
Justified, dude. Fucking great show. And then on Netflix, I've been finding some good shows. What's one recently? I think it's called Banshee. Go look at Banshee, dude.
Is that a Netflix show? That sounds like a Showtime show that's being aired on Netflix. It's not an original.
Maybe, but
Banshee
Billions.
Okay.
I don't know if that's Netflix.
That's Showtime, I think.
I just watch everything on Netflix,
Yeah.
seems like. Nowadays, when I turn on my TV, 9 times out of 10, boom, Netflix. Why? Because it's all there. It's either that or Prime Video.
Speaking of which, let's transition to this. With dropping bombs, how come you're not are you planning on going on Roku or Apple TV and shit? Because I think that the whole TV game is evolving so much to streaming TV, and it's about content. I'd watch this fucking show on Amazon Prime or something.
Would you watch it on YouTube?
Yeah, I do.
Well, then go ahead.
I
Why I need to get on the rest of them? I'd love to, but I don't know how.
You got a whole team of ninjas over here.
But how do you get on fucking Apple TV?
I'm sure the same way that you get on any other station.
How?
Reach out to one of their reps and be like, hey, look, I got a show. Let's do something.
Well, I would probably need to clean up the language a smidge.
Nah, not on Amazon Prime or Apple. And think about this. You know how, for example, I have
Why don't you get it on there and I'll make you the agent.
All right, you hear this? All right, we got this recorded. All right, no doubt.
That's right.
But you know how I have a radio show I'm in 104.7 FM in Washington, D.C., which is a top 10 market. And there's different ways you get on radio. You could pay for airtime and get your own sponsors, or you could get signed to the network. Me, when I had a nationally syndicated radio show in Los Angeles and in Washington, D.C., Atlanta, Cleveland, and Rochester, I chose to buy the airtime, for my hour episode, and then just get, all the sponsors to be able to pay for it. So I'm sure that there's a way that you can buy airtime, on.
Well, sure I can.
Yeah.
Is that all you do?
Yeah. It's not that hard, man.
See, you should put a fucking course together.
You know what? That's going to be on the new Bradley Demand public channel.
Well, it should. Because again, people don't know this stuff, man. People are like, how come you're not on Apple TV? Fuck, I don't know, dude. How do you get on Apple TV? But I'd like to. And not only that, Bradley On Demand should be on it. Why wouldn't it?
That's what I'm working on.
Because as I'm flipping through Netflix with that, little app. No, it's Fire Stick.
Yeah.
Fire Stick, dude. Those bitches. I got Fire Sticks. I don't got Apple TV. I got Fire Sticks.
That's Amazon Prime.
Fire Sticks are freaking sweet, dude. I can put a Fire Stick on any TV, turns the TV into a smart TV.
Yeah.
And everything in the world is on that TV, right through that fucking Fire Stick. And the control, bink, 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 bink. It's easy. Like you could use an interactive system like Lightspeed on there with no problem. You could go through the courses, click the choices, take the tests, all of it. Easy with that remote they have.
You should do that, man. Honestly.
Don't know how.
I'll help you. I'll figure it out.
If you figure it out, dude, I'll do it. That'd be great.
Serious? All right.
But so you're bringing all this out there. How long did this TV show take, and why'd you decide to do that?
The show for me to shoot my part, the whole process took probably about 4 months working with the producers, and I'm learning a lot. There's the field producers, then there's the show producers, and then there's the after production producers. So there's all these different levels and stuff like that. But it took about 4 months for them to write the treatment, and then it was a 2-day shoot. So I'm the star of the episode, and they had 2 other people. They flew my mother in, and they flew my friend Billy, who was part of that whole craziness back in the day. So it was 3 of us on the show. And then what they're doing is they're going to be actually doing those recreations, but they're not the shitty ones from the 80s. They don't do it like that anymore. They're a lot of jump cuts. They don't use actors anymore. When they do these recreations, for example, I talk about when I was making the counterfeit money, not printing the counterfeit money, but we used to get sheets of counterfeit money from Brooklyn, and we would have to, cut them with one of those old, school chopper arms, whatever. And once we chopped them into bill sizes, then we would boil tea, and we'd have to stain the money, and then we would have to put dirt from a plant, literally dirt on them, rub them in, and then we'd have them on a clothesline. So when I tell that story, when I'm being interviewed by Vice, to make it more interesting for the audience, they have their video editing team create the recreations to go with the story. I'm really excited about it. I was shocked when they said that the episode is over $700,000 for one episode, with all the production and all that shit goes into it. So.
How many episodes are there?
There's the series has got 10 episodes, and each one of the people have their own. So I have a whole hour.
Where do they watch it?
It's on Vice TV. Vice TV is a big network.
Where do you find that?
All over cable. It's out here too.
Just Vice TV.
Yeah. So just whatever. What's your cable company here? Warner Brothers or Comcast? Cox. There you go. So on your Cox station, you find Vice TV.
I never wanted Cox. I went with Disc, but I just had to get rid of it. I didn't want Cox because, like, I'd hate to say fucking, I got Cox for cable. I used to fuck with people when I had Disc. I'd say, dude, do you prefer Disc Network or Dish Network or Cox? And they're like, yeah, I like Cox. I'm like, dude, did you hear what you just said? But I had to go with Cox because I like the voice.
Okay.
What do you call it? The voice remote where you just say what you want. Anything you want to say, dude, it just changed the channel to it. That's fucking smart. With AI coming out, I think, we're about to see some major shit. What do you think about AI? You into that at all?
Yeah. Again, in what aspects? For CRM or for
anything? Just like AI's coming, dude.
Yeah.
I think that's, people are, I think, underestimating what AI is going to do.
Give me a little prelude. What specifically?
Well, like you better be fucking skilled with some intelligence, because when you can create artificial intelligence, a lot of people are going to be replaced. I think they're going to be replaced, dude.
Yeah, but how?
Like your training business, my training business, we might end up fucked. Why? Well, dude, what if I could type in Googleopoly into an AI algorithm and it would continue with that book, but get even smarter than the book, all fed from the book. And then AI got smarter and smarter. Pretty soon that is free. What would you do?
That would suck.
Yeah. Or, like right now, copywriters, there's a system out there. I forget what it's called. I think it's Jarvis or some shit like that. No one's paying me to advertise it, so I won't say too much, but I think it's called Jarvis. You write in like what you want to sell or do something, hit a button, and fucking an AI bot just goes with the best copy ever. No,
I've seen that. And I think you're right. I think at first, like now in our time, like in immediate time, it'll be useful things that can make our life easier. Again, automatic responses and things like that. But then when you're talking about like the real serious AI shit that Dr. Stephen Hawkins was warning, that's what some of these big tech companies were talking about, is that, they fear that the AI will take over and that'll be the end of humanity.
I don't know about that, but that's what they say. I've heard that.
Yeah.
But that's where the machines get so smart. They know that we're the fucking parasite.
Well, do you know what happened with Facebook? Like, this is a fact. This happened years ago. Like, Facebook had an AI program and they started speaking to each other and it created a language that internally, until Facebook killed it, that really happened. And it did that shit in a week. So they had an artificial intelligence program that was communicating with each other, the two entities, and they fucking created a language that the programmers didn't understand. They created it. And when that shit happened, Facebook killed it. You could Google it. It's like legitimately happened.
Dude, what are the top 3 books in business?
Oh my gosh. Besides Googleopoly?
Yeah.
So my favorite books would be by far The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Dr. Stephen Covey. Me and my wife have been certified trainers, facilitators for like 14 years. It's changed my entire life. So I think because it really gives the blueprint, in my opinion, of how to be effective. And see, there's all these books of how to make money or how to do this or how to do that, but it's all bullshit, in my opinion, because the roots of all that success, wealth, prosperity start with being effective. And so the whole 7 Habits of Highly Effective People are principles that help people go from codependency or dependency to independence to ultimately interdependence. And so it's a blueprint in chronological order of what to do, how to do it to get to the highest state as a professional.
Second book.
Okay. I personally love Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And so I don't know if that's a business book, it's more a finance book, but it really breaks down at whatever level you are about finances, assets, liabilities, and money. It really makes sense. And in my opinion, I think a lot of the problems we have in this country is financial illiteracy. There's a lot of people that are fucking financially stupid because they've never been taught. And that book is the basics to be able to start putting you in the right path.
Third.
This is going to be a shift from business to mindset. I'm a huge fan of The Secret. And it's funny because you checked me outside when we were talking before the show about putting stuff out to the universe, which you're 100% right. The laws of attraction, manifestation. I think that it's the law of attraction is one thing, but the law of action. So, it's the secondary aspect of the secret is taking that law and applying it with actual action.
So is it The Secret?
Yeah, The Secret.
So those would be the top 3 books
I like.
You could give anybody listening that wants to freaking blow up, scale
100%.
up. What about what you've learned in business? Because obviously, dude, you've had some shit happen over the last 20 years, and you're still doing it. You're still powering through. You made it anyway. So, like, if someone's out there starting a business, thinking to start a business, or maybe they just got out of prison and they think, oh, they're a felon, they can't make anything. Like, give them some hope. Yeah,
the number one thing I would say is mindset. And this might sound cheesy. People are like, fuck, I want something special. But it really is about mindset. If you don't think that oh shit, took me back to the block. Now, if you don't really believe that you can achieve certain levels of success, it's never going to happen. It doesn't matter what fucking courses you buy, who you hang out with. If you really are doubting yourself, it's never going to work. So I'd say, the very first thing that I tell anybody is you have to really want to be successful. And you mentioned somebody coming out of prison. You can't turn around and think that nobody's going to hire you because you're ex-convict. Because if you believe that, you're right. You're never going to get hired. So I'd say mindset is the first thing. The second thing is self-education. You got to master your craft like you were getting a master's degree in any other industry. So for me, what made me successful is when I got into car sales, I fucking mastered my craft. I took all the training that I could from the manufacturer, all the training from the trainers that the dealerships were involved in, but then I self-educated. Most successful people, Brad, that I come, in their proximity, and I have the opportunity to ask them, what did you do? They studied, they read, they took courses, they at least went to YouTube and watched free videos. But you need to consume before you start spending money on other shit. Invest in yourself. So I'd say that's the first thing after mindset. The first actionable item is invest in yourself. Saturate yourself with information. Next thing I would say is, again, I'm not going to poo-poo anybody's plans for business, but what I feel is that if you find yourself in a niche, you'll have a higher probability of faster success. If you're trying to be a general practitioner in something, you might or might not be successful. But if you could fucking dominate an industry, see, when I got into car sales, because you're a former car guy, I didn't try to just be a general sales trainer. I got into internet sales, BDC, and CRM, and I was the best in that niche by far. So after I solidified myself in that niche, then I was able to branch out to showroom training, special finance training, all the other shit that's there. Next, I would say is branding. I don't care who you are, what you are. You cannot let other people be in control of your success or not. For me, I created the Millionaire Car Salesman Group. We have over 21,000 members in that group. I have a podcast, not as big as yours, but for our industry, I have a couple 100,000 downloads, and I have my own community that I get to market with. You know what I mean? Now, the only thing I would say to you, to be transparent, that I need to do better is and we talked about this offline, is I need to build a sales team. That's the only thing I would say that I haven't done yet. And I do really well. Dealer Synergies now is an 8-figure business. We don't do 8 figures a year, but we've made, Brad, almost $50 million since we've been in business. That's a lot of money from an ex-convict, ex-gang member, ex-piece of shit. But to your point, I'm watching now, how do you take a $50 million operation and turn into a, $500 million operation or $1 billion operation? I need to, moving forward, is develop that sales team. I need consistent people knocking on doors, making phone calls to get to the next level. So I would say that's the only thing I wish that I did before that I didn't do, soon enough, but that I'm working on right now.
More hands you shake, more money you make.
100%.
Now, you're also a speaker with the NSA Roundtable, $1 Million Roundtable or whatever. What's that mean?
Yeah, so the National Speakers Association is like the NFL for paid professional speakers. So I'm in the NSA. Then the first big thing is something called a CSP. A CSP stands for Certified Speaking Professional. It's like a CPA in accounting, so I'm a CSP. And then the highest level in the NSA is something called the $1 Million Speakers Group. You have to earn over $1 million a year in paid speeches. And these fucking people, they vet you. They get tax records, all sorts of shit. And all this is very serious because, big meeting planners don't want to hire certain people that are just frauding or fronting like they've done this. So I'm vetted and I'm a CSP in the $1 Million Speakers Group.
So you travel around doing keynotes and what have you.
Yeah. Usually in our industry for like state associations. Yeah. So on top of being a sales trainer and a business development expert, I am also, separately a keynote speaker with the NSA. Yes.
And if someone's listening wants to book you, where would they book you?
They could just find me anywhere. They could go to, SeanVBradley.com, dealersynergy.com, or they could email me, SeanB@dealersynergy.com.
You got anything coming up other than this new TV show that you want to plug before we call this a day?
Yeah, pretty much the TV show is pretty big. That's going to be dropping in the fall. I have an upcoming conference, though, that's going to be in January in Philadelphia. It's called IS20G. A lot of automotive, but we have a lot of entrepreneurs that are going to be coming. And I'm going to be coinciding the VIP party with the premiere of the TV show. So that's going to be in January.
So when will I drop this? I know you want me to drop it after a certain date because there's hush hush about the name of the show.
Yeah. So I'm thinking probably in the next 30, 45 days.
Did they tell you don't say nothing?
Yeah. We had to get lawyers involved in everything. So I'm under contract. I have an NDA for that because they're very specific. I mean,
so if I accidentally drop this tomorrow, you'd be in trouble.
I'd probably get a little shit for it. Yeah.
Dang.
Extortion.
Yeah, I was going to say, no, my team won't drop it until you say to drop it. But dude, I appreciate you swinging through while you're in Vegas. Folks, if I were you guys, I'd definitely go hit this dude up if you're in sales or specifically in car dealers. Cause dude, you got a library that could choke a horse of content that'll help people sell more vehicles.
The best library on the planet for the automotive industry by far.
If you're a dealer or a dealer group or you're in the car business, I'd go check it out if you're listening to the show. And then go follow him at Sean V. Bradley on social media. And as always, till next time, keep it real.